without expecting a reward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
In cash or in kind. But I mean, once you decide or agree to help, whether it's on voluntary basis or it's a profession for which you are paid, then you should be ready to stomach the consequences, because naturally people will be watching.
Yeah.
And of course, psychologically, by the way, also, there are people who will be jealous of you.
Yeah.
That's
the
will
biggest
be very
problem.
envious.
Yeah.
And once they're envious, they'll be very much interested to see anything that jeopardizes your image or tarnishes your image.
That's
So that every small thing that happens, people will talk about it because you are a public figure. That's the problem. Whereas somebody else who is not a public figure can do something worse than that.
Yeah.
And it will not tantamount to this kind of noise as you are. And again, coming back to your point, this is why as a public figure, you should definitely, they should all visit psychologists. Not that I'm promoting that people should come to me and let me chop their money. For what we call to develop their coping skills, coping mechanism.
Yeah.
How do you desensitize from criticism or unnecessary gossips that are not authentic, that are meant subjective, meant to depress you even more, or to demoralize you? You mentioned the word moral. To demoralize you and to depress you. So there are people whose coping mechanisms are very good. If you criticize Mr. X or Miss Y on something that is not true, and he was, then you can cope, because you rationalize it. You know that definitely this is not correct. It's not going to have. Of course, you cannot, unfortunately, you may not have the opportunity to talk to everybody else and give them the correct side of it.
That's what the Wallace would
say.
But
at least you as an individual, your coping skill should be such that you should be able to cope with the situation. If you don't, it can affect you very easily, and this can affect you as an individual, emotionally, maybe professionally and functionally. It can affect you interpersonally, your family situation. It can also affect you in terms of career, in terms of prospects.
Okay. And
so I think,
yes, Dr. Sidibe, also some of the public figures, it is believed that they make these assumptions that a secret will remain a secret. That's why, they get involved in some kind of things. But it is also believed that if you believe that a secret would always be kept a secret, then you must be treading on dangerous waters, because, things would come out at the end.
In this world of today, the word confidentiality is a nomenclature, but in reality, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because, and unfortunately, I don't know, as human beings, we have to interact. You cannot talk to yourself alone. You cannot take decisions on yourself alone. You have to share with people. And unfortunately, you cannot guarantee that the person you share with does not have a friend he or she trusts just like you trust him.
But why does this happen to only for men?
What do you mean?
Public figures who are men? Because women, is very, very, difficult to have a scandal in their life that this man, this woman is caught with this person.
Unfortunately,
it always happened to men.
Yeah, unfortunately, people are not very gender sensitive, because women can do worse things than men. But when it comes to men, it is assumed that men are the culprits, that when men are the womanizers, men are the ones who are violent, men are the greatest thieves, men are the greatest crooks. Because of the nature of a woman, inherently, people expect her to be tender, to be this. So this upbringing and perception we have, I'm afraid, is what helps, so that when a man does, people are they quickly believe it. Whereas a woman can, this is why, in fact, from a psychological point of view, we don't go by the gender alone. We go by your body language, how we perceive you, the way when we talk to you, how you respond, we look at you, your language, the way you answer questions, the way your pattern of, then we can deduce quite a lot of information.
Okay. Dr. Sidibe, you see, I'm doing this too quickly because, time is always against us, so I'm trying to cover a whole lot. But also, don't these men learn? Because a lot of things have happened before. Bill Clinton has his issues and all these other ones, and still men keep making mistakes like this.
Yes.
They still keep making...
I think from a psychological point of view, men have much more problems with what we call impulse control than women. Men are very impulsive. And women are extremely dangerous in attracting men or involving them into things that you wouldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Sometimes the greatest, maybe imam or the greatest priest, when it comes to women, like one old man said once in one funeral, he said, if you are praising men, praise them on everything else,
but not on the side of women.
Because you can never guarantee. We have generally a weakness that, but of course, it's a question of restraint, how you can control your impulse towards a given situation. A stimulus response. Women can be very dangerous stimuli. And today, I must say that generally, women will tempt you to death. And once you react, you become the culprit.
Because
so men must learn to restrain themselves.
Because simply. This man...
and do it correctly.
Congressman Wayne, for that matter, this man went into the gym, he took his BlackBerry, and he took photos of himself partially naked, and then he took those photos and put them on Twitter. What was he thinking?
Well, I think he had a motive. He must have had a motive. Either he thought he was so ugly and he had to do that to show that he was beautiful.
No, he was sending it to this woman, you know, kind of showing him. He was sending it to the woman, showing the woman, you know, his body, and he's married.
Maybe the woman may have, because sometimes women can tell you are very, the way you look compared to my husband, you look, in fact there is something I taught recently to the lawyers here in forensic psychology, where a woman told his husband in the West that you are not attractive at all. You are very unattractive compared to my ex-boyfriend, my first boyfriend, physically and otherwise. And this man got so angry that he strangled the wife to death. And when he went to, it's provocation, isn't it? But provocation is no excuse. Of course, the man was sentenced.
We have an interview that we did with Adi Fatty.
Those are the kinds of things that can happen.
Scary, scary. We did an interview with Adi Fatty. He's the editor-in-chief of the GRTS newsroom to find out about celebrities and also the media coverage in their lives. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll be right back.
Sure.
A segment of
Thank you so much. I'm not sure if I am a public figure. No, I am a public official. I work in an official capacity for the government and people of the Gambia. In any case, I guess you're talking about people in positions of public trust or leadership or celebrities in a sense. This is a concept that is rather novel in the Gambian scenario, even though you have people in the limelight who are also looked up to by the rest of society as role models. But in the conventional context, especially as it applies to, shall I say, the Western society, a public figure or celebrity is one who, like I said, occupies a position of public trust, is working for a public, is in the limelight, and has a life that has very little private bearing. That is my concept or idea of a public figure.
How do you interact with the public as a public figure?
Well, if I'm a public figure, I guess I interact with members of the public normally, even though there's a lot of attention by virtue of the fact that in my case, you're a television personality. People see you on TV. So everywhere you go, people know you and they call your name. That, I guess, is the only difference. Otherwise, I am able to comport myself normally within the public domain. But having to be identified and recognized and even complimented virtually everywhere you go, is a bit interesting and almost challenging as well, because that